I want you to select a vanishing point. Now this one probably would be a little easier with a ruler, but again, we're not always dealing with boxes, right, in geometric forms. Like, for the longest time, I didn't understand how perspective really applied in this observational drawing thing until I realized that this does apply in a huge variety of ways, right? So what I want you to do is create a perfectly horizontal line, or as close as humanly possible to your horizon line. Doesn't have to. I just want you to give yourself 4 little things to solve here. Okay? So I'm just going to do 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Now what I want you to do is go ahead and take from your vanishing point, whoops, connect the edges like that. And make sure that you're receding. Your illusion of parallelism lines go beyond that line. Okay. So what you're going to do now is you're going to create a plane, okay? 4 planes here. And so you can decide how big, how long, whatever you want, but make some different sizes. So to make a plane, or kind of like, think about it like a flat piece of wood, right? I want you to create a parallel to the line that you drew to. And make different sizes, different shapes, right? Or rather sizes. So I'm going to get this one a little closer. That one's not very parallel. Clean that up a little bit. I'm going to make this one pretty big here. So we want them to kind of look like, you know, flat rectangles out in space or something. Like that. Okay, so your next step, once you've done that, is I want you to lightly draw through corner to corner on each one, as straight as possible. And that X is going to look different for each one because you have different sizes, right? So draw as straight as you can. So when I'm doing this, I'm kind of setting up this idea of creating sort of a rectangular prism, or in a lot of cases, a cylindrical form. So what we're doing here is we're finding the middle of these. And it doesn't look like the middle, right? Because when you have a square and it's flat, it's equidistant, right? Those triangles should all be the same, but in this case they're not, because they're going back into space, right? So we can do a variety of things with these. So like what I'm gonna do for the first one here is I'm gonna draw an ellipse in here. So trying to think about, like, if I had a plank of wood and I cut it into a circle and it were flying away from me or toward me, right? How would that circle change in terms of how its perspective looks, right? If this is the middle, and I kind of work with an ellipse over it like this, then maybe I want to draw a straight line up from there. Then I can go to my edges with a straight line. And I can develop a conical shape out of that. I could do the same thing by bringing this all the way down and through the form. I could make another conical shape going down through the middle from the edges. I could take these straight up. Maybe I should draw a little straighter. I could take my middle straight up. Then maybe I decide how tall I want this thing to be. I don't want it to extend beyond this, so I think I'm going to go ahead and just give myself a straight here. I'm going to bring this back to the vanishing point. I'm going to bring this one back to the vanishing point here. But I'm going to stop there. Then I'm going to create this scenario here. Then when I draw a square through the top, it should intersect through that middle. So now I've kind of taken that, perspectival box that we used over here. I've identified where the center is. And you may be like, oh, you know, why is that even useful, right? Well, when we use the geometric analysis system, we're going to place objects inside of here, right? It's important for us to know roughly where the middle is going to be. Think of it almost like you've got a block of marble, right? And you have to carve out whatever form it is that you're trying to draw. How much of all this space in here do we need to remove to get to that? So thinking like this helps us to understand how this is going to apply to real things, right? We'll do more of this on Wednesday to help you.
Could you do that one more time?
Yeah, for sure. The box?
Sure.
I went really fast on it, huh? Okay. So I'm actually going to start with, I'm going to go ahead and do the ellipse again. So think of these as limitations for your ellipse, right? So I'm trying to fit kind of an oval shape in there, and I don't want to change any of the dimensions of it. So that would be like a disc above me kind of thing. Now if I drew this straight down from the center, then I could make a conical shape from that if I wanted to, right? Or what I could do is I could come straight down from the edges, and I could repeat this up here. And I could create a geometric solid. I would just have to do some erasing. So this is where that applied action comes in. I'll go ahead and do the cone again here. So like, what I'll do first is I'll start with, actually it might be more interesting to do kind of an inverted pyramid. So I'm going to come down straight like this. How many sides am I going to see? Okay, so this is going to come here to that edge. This will come here to this edge. This will come here to this edge. Now I have so much stuff going on, and you're probably going, man, I can't even see anything, right? Well, now all we got to do is erase. So let's get rid of all this extra information inside. The reason I identified the middle was because I wanted to know where that point was going to end so that I could bring the other three or the other two sides to that. So I could see the top ridge and the way those would come down, right? So we can work off of planes in a lot of different ways. And that's where we're going with this, right? Otherwise we're drawing boxes all day. It's like, what are we doing here? You know? It gets complicated. And I'll go back over it again Wednesday, yes. What do you want me to try again? I can draw stuff in perspective all day, Sadie. Maybe I should make my lines a little straighter. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my plane. Now I just need to find the center by joining the corners. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring the center up so I know where the middle is. I'm going to bring all of the sides up as well. So in this case, I need to figure out like how tall this needs to be, because like I've decided I'm probably going to keep these the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and go from here to here. Make sure those are about the same height. Vanishing point here to here. Whoops. More like that. More like that. There we go. Now all I've got to do is bring this across. So I've developed one side, back side. We've got the bottom, right? And now, that looks like it needs to go higher. I'll fix that, there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go corner to corner again, and if I do that right, it should meet or pass through this middle area here. This is a way crazier angle though, so. Okay. Yeah, no? I can slow it down for you too, I don't know. It'll make a lot more sense when we're starting to apply this to actual objects, yes?